I'm so excited to have you here. Percy Jackson is so much fun. And something that I love about it is it's something that everyone really loves to geek out about, right? And I mean, you have talked about this being a big thing for you, but I'm also curious, what are some other things that really like make you geek out and elicit that same reaction?
I'm a really big Marvel fan. Yeah. The Dune movies recently, you know what, not the books, because I need to read the books, but like everyone tells me like if you're gonna read the books, you gotta really be all into that. And I kind of I figured, you know, I might as well just watch the movies because it's exciting. I don't know what's happening next. Hunger Games, love Hunger Games.
Did you read the prequel?
The prequel? No.
Oh my gosh.
I've only read the first. I've read The Hunger Games, Catching Fire.
Yeah.
And I think
then Mockingjay, or?
I don't think I read
that
Mockingjay.
one. That's emotional damage for sure. Just like prepare yourself.
The movie, I watched all the movies.
Yeah.
The movie was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Not bad in the bad way, but it was like it sad.
Yeah. No, those are very intense, and those are. I mean, Dune also. I will say, when you read those, you have to lock in, but you will immediately. It's going to be great. But these are all great adaptations, and Percy Jackson, obviously an adaptation in itself. A lot of changes. There have to be, I think, from page to screen in general.
Yeah.
But as a big fan of both the books and as a lead of the show, what has been a change maybe this season that you originally were like, had a harder time, you know, getting your head around?
You know what, after watching a lot of the episodes, I'm very happy with the way that a lot of things turned out, you know? It's difficult because there's definitely times where I read the script and I'm like, oh, this change, oh, this can't work, there's no way. And then it comes out and it works and I like it. So it's like, I don't know, there's some things that it's hard for me to wrap my head around at first, especially after reading it because I don't even know what it's gonna look like. But I guess when I heard, I didn't read episode 5, but I heard that they took out the underwater like bubble scene.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh, like that's so like, you know, why do we need that in there? But now it's like, you know, watching that episode, watching everything through. And then when I read the episode, I was like, oh, we already have so much, like that whole conversation I have with Annabeth where I tell her I'm basically going to burn everything down. And then afterwards, when we had that conversation on the boat, it's like we kind of make up for it, you know? And it also gives Annabeth the opportunity to have her own moment with like Athena. So that's like its own thing. And I really like that. And I really like how, since, you know, it isn't like first person point of view, we can see more of these things for like other characters, you know, these like personal moments.
Yeah, I think that we get that a lot with, one, the siren fake out totally got me. I was absolutely shocked, but I also love that we get more of these points of views, like Clarice, I'd love to hear, I guess, about, you know, working more with Dior this season and like building up that relationship, which looks a little different from the books, but I think in a good way.
Yeah, no, Dior is amazing. She does such a good job at you know, obviously playing the role of Clarice, but also like not totally, like she kind of lets you in a little bit more. And I like that a lot because you can kind of understand where she's coming from. And I really like that. And I think, you know, working with Dior, she's so focused on what she's doing. She's like 24/7 on set. She's like listening to music, focusing on the scene, like just in between. She'll come off set and immediately start like reading a script for like the show and just start like thinking about other things. And that's just really great to see. And she's also a fan of the books. So I think that's like such a, I don't know, I love when we bring in people who are also huge fans. So that's just amazing to see.
Yeah, I'd love to hear, I guess, about on set, like all of these book nerds who get to like inhabit that world. How has that been for everyone?
It's great, but I feel like sometimes it's bad. It's great, but sometimes it's like Ari and I specifically, we're like, I would say we're probably the biggest Percy Jackson book fans since, you know, we both read them when we were really young and got into it. And when we're on set, it's like, I think sometimes it's a bad thing because we'll get a script and we'll be like, just start writing things down, like this doesn't work, and then sending it back, and then they have to sit us down and be like, okay, we've thought about that too. This is why this is gonna work, and then we're like, oh, because it's like, you know, like I said, it's like you see things on paper or you hear about things and you're like, oh, there's no way, and then, you know, when you actually see it being done, it starts to make more sense.
Yeah, I think I felt that originally with the Circe scene. I felt I was like, why are there men here? They should all be guinea pigs.
Exactly.
But then, like, I think that the show does a really interesting job of complicating the villains a little bit more. Can you tell me about shooting the spa sequence? Because that's obviously, again, very different, but I think works.
Oh, of course. I had my first experience with like a skirt or like a toga, which I was like, wow, I didn't even realize, like, you have to like pay attention to where that thing is.
Yeah.
You can't just sit down because it just doesn't work.
Fully open.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I had a lot of problems with that. Thankfully, they gave me little shorts underneath, but it was just awkward sometimes. Especially because, like, those cast chairs are so up high, and then you sit down, and then everyone's like, maybe you should, and then you have to like fold it under your leg or something.
Oh no.
But Circe's Island was definitely, I don't know, it felt so like, I like how personal it felt with everyone there, and I don't know, we, like you said, we really made her like this season's Medusa in a way. Yeah, I don't know, I like that whole episode.
Yeah, and it also tees up perfectly. Another, which I think is my favorite change, is you giving the fleece to Luke to save Annabeth.
Yeah.
Like, that was such a big moment. Can you, again, I would love to hear about, so first off, reading that on the page, because again, totally different from the book.
Mm-hmm. No, totally. I think I love that scene. Here's the thing about Percy, it's like, he messes up. Like, he knows he's messing up when he's doing it too. Like, he knows this is probably not a good decision, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think he ever, for a second there, he was really down on himself after all that stuff happens. He thought Tyson died again, and he's in the cave, it's all his fault. But then, like, what I love about him is he always gets back up. You know what I mean? He doesn't just, there's moments where he's down on himself, but like, he gets back up, and then he keeps trying. And one of my favorite lines from that episode is, it's something like this, but Clarice is like, oh, now, great, what are we supposed to do now? And Percy's like, we get them back.
Yeah.
Of course. But it just doesn't, like, how on earth are we going to get Annabeth and the fleece back? But I love that because he even though he doesn't have an answer to everything, it's like, he just knows that he's going to make it work somehow, or try to make it work.
Yeah, he's extra tenacious, which I think is great.
Mm-hmm.
We need to talk about the finale, because speaking of things that are different from the books, all a totally new battle sequence. So when you find out that you're ending with a siege of Camp Half-Blood, like, tell me about your first reaction to that, because that was crazy.
Well, my first reaction was, how is this going to be different from book 4?
Yeah.
So I was like, first I was like, what do you mean? We can't do that. Like, that happens in book 4. It is definitely going to be different in book 4. When I heard their ideas for that, if we get to do it, fingers crossed, definitely a lot more damage done in season 4, and it's definitely a little bit different. They have big plans for that if we get to do it, and I'm really excited for that. But no, it's more of, I think of it as less of an attack on Camp Half-Blood, more of an attack on like the border and like the what makes camp safe. It's like what makes camp the only place that they can like truly feel protected and safe. So I think that's kind of that battle, and it's almost like for Thalia, and it's definitely a big change. But I think it also just really sets up book 3 or season 3 that we're filming right now, because that's like almost the tone of the entire season.
Yeah, one thing that I think is interesting about the adaptation is it's getting to that darker point of Percy Jackson a lot faster in season 2. Mm-hmm. I have to hear about the fight with Luke, though, because you guys have fought multiple times throughout the season. So how do you and Charlie, work to keep evolve their relationship through like the physicality of these fight scenes? It's
funny because Percy and Luke almost have the same exact fighting style. It's just, I think Percy's a little more, Luke is kind of, I think better, like, he's a more skilled sword fighter. And so I think Percy has to kind of rely on like, physically moving and dodging and like, I guess using like his body and like tackling and like all that kind of stuff. Percy's always kind of learning from Luke, and you can kind of see it on the fights. Luke uses like the same move on Percy where he grabs his wrist, then slices the sword out of his hand. And then in the fight in the next episode, in episode 8, Percy uses that same exact move on Luke. So I think I always love when they add in stuff like that, because it's like, even though they're still enemies, Percy's still learning everything he knows about sword fighting from this guy. But then he learns something different in that fight in 8, where it's like, he thinks like the rules of battle, he won, you know? Percy disarmed him. He thinks he wins. But then Luke punches him in the face and then grabs him and keeps punching him in the face. And then he realizes, like, oh, this isn't just like, I mean, obviously, there's been many times before where he's almost died. But, like, this is supposed to be kind of, even though he stabbed him before, it's like, this is his kind of, not friend, but, like, this is just so different. You know what I mean? It's like, he never thought this would be happening between them. And Percy, he could have just punched Percy, like, twice and he would have been on the ground. But, like, he holds him up. And there's a couple times in the fight, I don't know, I haven't seen the fight completely, but like where Percy almost falls back and he pulls him back and keeps punching. Like, it's not even like he's going for the kill. It's like he wants to hurt him.
Yeah. Well, like the elevator like stab scene, right? Because he knows that you have the fleece and he's just like, I'm just going to stab him anyway. It's brutal.
Oh,
it's brutal stuff.
It's insane.
Like rewatching that was really intense. I guess you've talked about liking doing your own stunts and that kind of thing. For this season, what do you think was your favorite overall now that it's totally out?
Well, there's definitely, we all have stunt doubles and we have an amazing stunt team. Because there's a lot of stuff that we just can't do. You know what I mean? Like if we either like actually physically can't do, like skill-wise, or, you know, stuff that like we would get hurt doing. Like that fling over Luke's shoulder, that was Adam, my stunt double, and he's amazing, and I love that. And sometimes like we always run it a lot, and I try to get him, or I tried to kind of learn from him because he just makes everything look really good. And I think I'm especially with like season 3 at this point, we're all just trying to like match our stunt double skill level because we're all supposed to be like, you know, at the point where we're supposed to be really good fighters. So yeah, what was the original question? I'm sorry.
Oh, it was just your favorite stunt, but it's cool to hear about learning.
My favorite stunt, maybe it's not really a big stunt, but in that fight in episode 7, I like roll onto the table and then I kick the sword out of his hand. So I think that was just a really cool sequence. I like when we get to use our environment in fights and stuff, and yeah, I love that. I'll have a lot more answers for season 3 because there's just like a fight, like 2 fights every episode basically.
Oh wow! And this one, I already thought that there was like a fight. Like season 2 already felt super action packed. You mentioned learning, you know, from your stunt double Adam, and I'm intrigued as the seasons continue. What are things that you're learning about yourself as a performer? Maybe
not just learning about myself, but I think everyone has such a different process, and I feel like as we go on and we all get older, like all of us are kind of developing our own kind of way to make our characters work. So I think it's interesting to see, you know, how everyone's evolving as an actor and like how we all take it to the next level together in our like slightly different ways. Yeah, like, you know, everyone's got a different process, and I think some of it's so interesting watching, even just like other actors, like my entire life, it's like some people's process is just like not wing it, but like learn it all the day before, like learn it all like the weeks, you know, coming up to the scene, and then just kind of play around in the day, like stay out of it, and then when they say action, like you really focus. And then some people's process is just like stay focused on it the entire day. I think I'm closer to the first one. I like to prepare a lot for the day, and like read the scripts over and over and over again. But when I get there, it's like, you know, going back to school and back to set and then lunch and like, and getting these tiny little breaks in between. It's like, you kind of just learn to focus when you're on set, and then when you're off, be you and relax. And I feel like that just saves you a lot of energy, or saves me a lot of energy. Nice, yeah, I like the divide. I also want to ask about Thalia, because everything about her, the tree, is, again, it's different. It seems more like a punishment from Zeus than like a moment of safety. Can you tell me a bit about how that revelation will set up their relationship in season 3? Definitely gives her more of a reason, now that she didn't have one before, but to dislike Zeus and the gods. Yeah. So I think, you know, Thalia and Percy's arguments are a lot. I guess she has a way, there's a bunch of times where like, you know, Percy's almost like, look around, like, do you think that everyone here is bad? Like, do you think that this entire, like, can't, like, nobody chose to be a demigod, you know? But she just kind of really hates her dad. I mean, rightfully so. Look what he did to her. And it's just kind of, I don't know, it's an interesting season because it also gives her more of a reason to side with Luke.
Yeah.
But we're on this quest together. So I think it's like, it's a really difficult, it gives us both, it's difficult for both Percy and Thalia, because it's like, I mean, and to a degree, Percy also agrees with Luke. He just doesn't like the way that he's going about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to come back from a relationship with your father when he turns you into a tree. I think that's tricky.
It's a little difficult.
Yeah. You mentioned in another interview that season 3 is going to be your favorite one to shoot. Now that you're kind of in it, how is it holding up to the hype?
I mean, it's even better than I imagined. I love season 2 and I love season 1. Perfect. Like I love them so much. But there's something about the Titan's curse to the Last Olympian that's just like a completely new level, and it's just so different. It just changes, and I think I don't know, especially since I'm getting older, it's like I love season 1 and 2 because there's a lot of great like heavy moments, but there's also a lot of like really good happy times, and there definitely is gonna be some happy times in 3 and like 4 and 5, but like
thank goodness.
Thank goodness, yeah. But like they're not that young anymore, you know? Like they're getting older and things are like getting pretty serious with this great prophecy, and I think it gets really difficult for them because it's like now things are real. They're not invincible, you know? Not that they were before, but like they've seen how they're not invincible, and I think that's gonna be really interesting going on from season 3. And I'm so excited for that I don't know, it's just such a different thing, and I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, it reminds me of, Sally has that great line in the finale, like, you kids have so much weight on you, you have so much to bear, like, you feel that heaviness kind of creeping in.
Yeah.
But there's some levity, and I do want to ask, just before we wrap, there's a particular scene that made me laugh so hard every time I read it as a child. Are we going to be getting some good damn jokes?
We're going to be getting a lot of good damn jokes.
I'm so
That's
excited.
in there.
Yes, that's all I wanted from
that's the only thing I'm going to like confirm.
Good.
Because I as a fan, before we got episode 5, Arian and I were like, there's just no way they take that out. Because it's like my favorite part of that book. There's no reason for them to laugh at this point. But I love how they're just like sitting there laughing about these damn jokes.
Yeah, damn good. What is it? There's like a damn good gift shop. Yeah.
Damn gift shop. They're definitely in there. And I just love that part of the book because it's this kind of, I don't know, it makes it seem like it gets really depressing up until that point. It's like I'm not gonna spoil anything for anyone that hasn't read the book, but it's like, it makes you want to be a part of it because you kind of see how like even in this like world where like you lose so much, you could still be happy. And I think, I don't know, it's so interesting.
Awesome. I'm so excited. It's going to be a damn good time. I can't wait.
It's going to be a damn great season.
Absolutely.